everyone. I'm your mayor, LaToya Cantrell. I indicated that I wanted to be as accessible as possible, utilizing social media, since the majority of our people really do have access to technology through a smartphone or other avenues. But this is the first step, I would say, in the right direction, and just wanting to be accessible. I did hear from you in regards to topics that you wanted to kind of hear from me on or engage me on. One particularly was the traffic cameras, as well as the illegal dumping in the city of New Orleans. So those are the two that we will kind of talk about today. There's not a lot of time, unfortunately, but every minute does matter that I can touch you and hear from you, and then we'll just do a better job as we move on. So I'm here for you.
So, Mayor, the first question that the residents were asking about, of course, were traffic cameras, and they wanted to know when the possibility of them coming down, and we know the budget is a factor as well.
Sure.
So can you explain that to the residents so they have a better understanding?
Sure. So what we do know, based on the deeper dives that we've been able to do while being a part of city government, as your mayor, is that the revenue generated right now is reported at $25 million. And that was relative to 2018. Now, when you go or you start to forecast in terms of the budget for 2019, we do have to look at the revenues, of course, versus expenses. On the revenue side, that $25 million is really a significant amount. However, we have to look at also the burdens that it's putting on people who are coming out of their pocket to make up that $25 million. So a cost benefits analysis is underway as well. But what is clear, there will be a phased approach in regards to the traffic cameras that will be removed. And these are the red light cameras that give you those tickets anywhere from $120 and an upward of $150, and if you miss a payment, it goes even higher. So we also have learned that the largest amount in terms of revenue collected is those who are in violation in a school zone, and that makes up about 70% of the revenue that is generated. So on the front end, I would say that the school zones, particularly because safe routes to schools would be not a part of the first phase of the takedown. So we're looking very closely. But I do want to stick to not only a promise that I made on the campaign trail, because it's not about a campaign nor a trail, but it is about trying to eliminate the burdens on the citizens of our city, particularly when the cost of living seems to be higher. It's an added burden on the working poor. It's just a fact.
Will you push for more signage to notify residents or drivers of the cameras?
Absolutely. Well, that is a state law as well in terms of proper signage, but we want to make sure that there are no trees or limbs that may be blocking signage, that signage is at a height that truly does I would say build up some equity, right? So that people, and justice, so that it's fair when people are moving through these particular zones. But if there are areas that you feel signage is inadequate or should be added, I want to hear from you. That's another reason why this engagement is so important, because you can direct me in the right direction and your boots on the ground. And so if there are any areas that need proper signage relative to these traffic cameras, let me know. Let this administration know.
A question coming across Facebook now is, how are we going to fill that deficit with regard to those traffic cameras?
Sure. Well, one, it's actually, thanks for the question, because that is the type of analysis that has to be done. Where are areas that we may be growing in revenue? Just, yesterday, we finally had a permit pulled for the Four Seasons, which came in at $1.6 million. So with adequate growth in the city, that also helps. As it relates to minimizing costs, even in some of our areas. We have seen where we've worked out with the aviation board, for example. The city of New Orleans was carrying an expense of $2 million, where we have renegotiated that, where the airport picks up that expense because it really is theirs, which has freed up $2 million for the city. But this is going to take a very concentrated effort to look at other revenue sources, one that we can even create to fill that gap. That's why a phased approach is the best approach to take.
Got you. Well, those are all the questions that we have on traffic cameras so far. Let's switch to illegal dumping, which was the other hot topic.
Okay. Well, now we have to clean our city up. I think that is just a fact. We have to do a better job of that, and the Cantrell administration, we're taking it on. I mean, head on. And a part of this is coming from the public and what we see when you're riding around our city. Miles and miles or mounds of illegal dumping. Tires, for example, in New Orleans East, unacceptable. Lower 9, even Algiers, parts of our city, parts of places in Central City and the like. So what we are doing about it, we are installing right now 10 cameras. That will be in 10 different areas throughout the city, many in the areas that I just mentioned. And we are going to aggressively go after those who are illegally dumping in the city of New Orleans. It is going to be really a no-nonsense approach, but we're serious about it. We heard from residents that they wanted these added cameras in these areas. They have helped us actually identify these key areas. And the good news about it, once we see that our work, like these cameras are changing the behaviors of people in key areas, we're able to then move those cameras to other areas throughout the city. Because let me tell you, we have more than 10 areas in this city where illegal dumping is occurring. But we have to start somewhere. So we're starting in the most critical areas, but then again, able to relocate those same cameras in other areas so that we can clean up the entire city of New Orleans. We're not picking and choosing. We're just looking at areas where the needs may be greater than the other, but everybody matters, and we have to improve the quality of life in this city. Get the trash out of people's eyes.
They're asking about more crime cameras, specifically for Central City.
Yes. So crime cameras, those that the city is installing in partnership with our Office of Homeland Security, of course the New Orleans Police Department, and our Real-Time Crime Center. All of these cameras are tied into the Real-Time Crime Center, and the chief and I will be making our rounds throughout the city asking residents where they would like to see more of these cameras going. The hot spots, meaning where crimes are occurring, that is areas that we are really focusing on the front end, but residents can help steer us in the right direction. So Central City, you have a large percentage of cameras in the area, and if there's a need, if you have a particular need, let us know as well, and we'll make those adjustments. But absolutely, Central City, we hear you. I'm listening to you.
Well, those are all the questions that we have today, Mayor. I want to thank you so much for being on Facebook Live, and we know that we will be continuing to do this with our Tell Cantrell campaign.
Yeah, we will, and we're going to get better. You know, I'm new at this, with these Facebook Lives and interacting with the public at this level, but I do believe it opens it up for greater accessibility and building the relationship, one that you can trust, that our administration is just focused on improving your life, improving the lives of in this city, and just the overall viability of our city. And I can't do it by myself. That's why this is so important. So thank you.